Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. It is your AMID host, PJ Wessels. This is episode number 5 of AMID. It is Friday. We've gotten through a week almost. Oh my gosh. Hope everybody is doing well. It is Friday, March 27th, 2020. And today, well, it's Friday. I don't normally work on Fridays, and I'm not really working on Fridays, but this isn't work. This is just me chatting about, well, pretty much kind of whatever. So I don't view it as work. If people think this is work and I should stop, well, let me know in the chat or do something. I am not on Skype today because I am not working. So if you have any questions, please keep them in the YouTube chat because I for sure will see those. So if you have any questions, put them there. If you have any comments, also put them there. So level setting between yesterday's show and today. For starters, Kevin asked me to draw a dragon yesterday. I started drawing a dragon afterwards, around like 2 o'clock my time. It wasn't going very well. It wasn't going very well at all. As I was telling Mackenzie in a meeting, I think at right around 2 o'clock as well, it looked like a lizard with some like pointy claw finger toe things on each foot. It wasn't looking very well. So I kind of paused kind of gave up for the day and just took a break and figured I'd come back to it today. I got up today. I wrote on Zwift already, so that felt really good. It's weird still getting up at like a decently normal hour. And then instead of going to work, riding my bike. So that was nice. But then I sat back down and I drew another dragon. And I drew a significantly better looking one, I think. So I did post it in Teams, but I also have shared it here. So here is the dragon. I thought it turned out pretty well. I mean, his front wing, the little shading up near like the top doesn't look great. I mean, I think I was going to try to like color that in so you could tell what it was. But then I realized that I was just doing it in monochrome pencil. And you would just think that it was like a really thick line or something. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. The head is still probably not great, but it looks pretty good, I think. It turned out, again, significantly better than what I started with yesterday. So I'm pretty happy with it. So thank you for that. And again, you just kind of have to accept the fact, you know what, there are a lot of different types of dragons out there too. So don't feel like you have to draw a dragon that looks like this. Again, if you look at like what actual dragons look like in the world, they look nothing like this. So there are lots of different dragons that you can draw. So don't think that you have to try to draw a dragon like this if you are going to. Again, I did put it out on Teams, so if anybody wants to respond with their own dragon drawing, they certainly can. Otherwise, just admire it, and as Kevin says, in all of its majesty. It looks pretty good, I think. I mean, I certainly think it'd be a little bit better. Its head, its tail aren't great, but that's okay. I'm not expecting to be an artist, so that's okay. Anyway, moving back to just normal chatting stuff. Again, okay. We had the 3 COVID discussions yesterday afternoon with some of the leadership. Again, big shout out to all of the leadership for doing what they've done for that. Really, computer? There we go. And that was pretty encouraging. One thing that I did kind of perk up at was Mr. Fowler talking about how they're going to relaunch Teams. I have been closely monitoring my email to see if there's going to be some sort of change that they are going to tell us about, but nothing has happened yet. Oh, look at Kevin's dragon. It looks kind of angry and it's spewing fire, but that's okay. So I'm kind of interested to see what they do with Teams, whether or not that means they're rolling out more functionality or if something else is changing. So maybe keep your eye out for that if you use Teams at all, or if you are interested in using Teams. If you don't use Teams, well, you're missing out on dragon drawings and pet pictures, but that's okay. Other things from that discussion yesterday included, I know I watched the second one because the third one, when I was supposed to watch, I had another meeting. But in the second sitting, they discussed some of what kind of modifications might happen to the work from home policy. Multiple people asked about, well, currently just like taking staycations, like staying home, but not going into work is significantly less appealing because, well, we're currently working from home. So if this extends for a longer period of time than initially thought, so maybe into late May, early June, who knows? If people don't take time off of work because, well, they're just home anyway, and travel is not really something that is advised for much of this time, they're going to have PTO kind of stack up. And at what point do they decide to extend the carryover? I had certainly not thought of this at all. So it was something new to me and something that's like, oh, that's actually a very good question and something I think the leadership is going to think about. Again, they're taking this on a week by week, probably a day by day kind of basis. So certainly not something that they are going to decide at the end of March when we've still got 9 months left in terms of being able to take vacation of some kind. And travel restrictions could change at some point, making it significantly easier to take the time off that we do have allotted to us and getting back down to the 5 days a year carryover. So, again, very good question, and that's something I had thought of at all. And I'm guessing leadership is going to be keeping an eye on that as these days continue. So, Mackenzie and Abby put together a bunch of questions that they're supposedly going to ask one a day for me. And today's question is, are Tic Tacs food? Okay. So Tic Tacs are mints. And mints are kind of like in the subcategory of candy. So while candy is a type, I mean, yes, because it's like a candy, which is usually something you eat, so it's like food, so it's designed to be eaten. So yes, it is food in that case, but it's not something I think you can make a meal out of. But yes, I believe Tic Tacs are food. I had to like walk myself through that because I think initially I said no, and it's like, well, based on how I am grouping them together, yes, they are actually food. So Tic Tacs, food, yes. Other things that I have best flavor. Original. Um, Original is the best flavor of Tic Tac because why mess with something that's already really good? So, original. Other stuff. Today is Friday, so I hope everybody is ready for the weekend and has something fun planned. So, I don't entirely know what I have fun planned yet. It may just be a lot of riding on Swift, but we shall see. Lots of time to determine that still. But looking forward to next week. I'm not quite sure when this might be. This show might be next week. It might be later in the day, maybe like noon Central instead of 11 Central, because I have a meeting from 11 to 11:30, and I can't quite make the transition from the meeting directly onto this. So it might be something that might get postponed a little bit. I know I will try to keep stuff posted. I'll probably just post something in Teams, unless people really think that I should just send out a recurring meeting invite to people who do want to see this. I don't really want to send something out to CL Actuarial all because, again, it's 50 people, so maybe not something that needs to be sent out to everyone. If we think that I should send out some sort of schedule, meeting, free reminder kind of thing that just says, hey, this is when I'm going to do it on different days, I can certainly set that up. But I think if people want to be added to that distribution, they should let me know in some way. Otherwise, I will probably just post something in Teams the day before or early that morning saying, hey, this is when I plan to do it. And then I will put something on my calendar for sure, just as a way to block that off. So if you have any thoughts in terms of how I should keep people informed about when this is going to be, please let me know. But that's kind of that plan for that. But Monday, I think I may discuss music in some kind because music starts with M and Monday starts with M. So Monday can be Music Monday. So I will probably find one album that I will listen to and then discuss a little bit on Monday. So it'll probably be something from my middle school or high school years, because those are like the albums that I am familiar with and can hopefully easily have discussions about, oh, hey, I remember listening to this, doing this, or waiting for school to open on like a Tuesday. And why do I remember it was a Tuesday? I'm not sure. But I think I will discuss some sort of musical album on Monday because Music Monday. Tuesday, I think, may become Television Tuesday. This will not be the discussion of an entire TV show. It will not be like, okay, I'm going to discuss the entirety of The Office in a 30-minute or part of a 30-minute time slot. It might be an episode from a TV show, or it might be part of a season, or something that I am currently still watching. So I need to pick that, and we'll certainly take questions submitted through Teams or through email beforehand, or different ideas. But Tuesday, I think, will become partially focused on television. So we'll have Music Monday and Television Tuesday. If I make a determination of either of those things that I'm going to discuss beforehand, I will try to post them in Teams. And then if you want to listen to the album as well, or watch the TV episode or two in some manner, you are certainly welcome to do so. And then bring questions or submit questions to me ahead of time, and I will hopefully address them. And then, well, the rest of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is partially just kind of a little bit out there, but who knows? Wednesday could definitely be like super duper short workout Wednesday where we keep an eye on the number of pull-ups I can do or something. But fortunately, nobody's asked about that anymore, so that's okay. What else? Thursday and Friday, very up in the air still, so lots of time to figure that stuff out. Okay. Oh, lunch yesterday. I ordered Noodles and Company for lunch to get delivered yesterday. And so I live in a collection of townhouses that are like 4 units per building. So 2 on essentially each side of a block. So there's 2 driveways that are connected, and then you flip onto the other side of the house, and there's 2 more driveways. They're on 2 different roads, more or less. But the address for the entire group of buildings is a single address, and then it's by unit. So it's not always great when getting food delivered, or when I've taken an Uber a couple different times. It hasn't been great, and usually it's like, okay, they will call and say, hey, where are you located actually? And then they're actually not as close as I would think that they would be. Yesterday was no exception. I had to direct my delivery driver to drive actually out of the other apartment complex south of where I live, where his GPS had taken him. And then he has to drive north past a park, and then eventually turn, and he found me. So that was good. And as I mentioned yesterday, I had to order at least $15 worth of food in order for it to be delivered, which is a little unfortunate, but it's also very understandable because Noodles and Company probably doesn't want anybody ordering like a cookie or a cookie and a bowl of soup just for it to get delivered. So it made sense. But what I ended up doing was ordering a small bowl of, it was pasta of some kind. I don't remember what, but I'm trying to look it up. This isn't a great idea while on air, but that's okay. It was pasta with Parmesan crusted chicken. And, here we go. It was Alfredo Montemore with Parmesan crusted chicken. So I ordered a small of that, and then had to increase the cost of it in some way. So I doubled the protein, because more Parmesan crusted chicken is always a good thing. And then I added more tomatoes, I added carrots, more spinach, and more mushrooms. And then I threw in a side of tomato basil bisque, which was okay. If you have ever eaten at Centro. The tomato basil soup that they have there was significantly better. The bisque from Noodles and Company was fine. It was a little bit thick and it felt a little bit like marinara, like chunky marinara sauce. It still tasted good, but the texture wasn't great. So that was probably the lesser of the two parts of my order. The pasta and chicken and all the veggies and stuff was really quite good. And again, with all of the doubling of the protein and other stuff, it was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of food, but not necessarily all of it was pasta. So that was really good. Um, and then there is a Texas Roadhouse not too far from me. So while they don't deliver, I might order pickup from them like at one point because I mean, who doesn't love their rolls and cinnamon butter? So that might be something that I order at some point this weekend. Otherwise, I did actually make a grocery run last night. So I don't necessarily need to order any kind of takeout or anything, but it's a nice alternative from having to cook every meal. So I'll probably get Texas Roadhouse at some point. Cactus Bob's is a local barbecue place over in Johnston. So I'll probably get that at some point as well, depending on, again, how long we are working from home. So I'm looking forward to those things, but I also don't want to make it a daily habit of ordering takeout because kind of that gets expensive. And I've got enough food here that I can certainly make a variety of meals and don't necessarily need to always have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or turkey and provolone sandwiches for all of my meals. So that'll be good. Okay. We're officially 2 weeks into working from home. And I think I've got my setup pretty much figured out. I do have one monitor that I brought from the office. I had initially grabbed that on the Thursday that we had initially been told that we were going to start doing 50-50 work from home. That was 3 Thursdays ago, if you're counting yesterday as one of the Thursdays. So I've got that. I've got my keyboard from work, my computer, and my docking station. I had a monitor already, so I've got 2 monitors, and then I've got them both hooked up to my work laptop. I also have my personal monitor also hooked up to my personal computer because I can then use it in times like this, where I am wanting something a little bit bigger than just my laptop screen to have the YouTube chat on it and the OBS software, which is the open broadcast software that I use to stream to YouTube. So I've got both of those up. I definitely had to kind of clean off my desk some because there was a bunch of stuff that didn't need to be on it. Like I had a bunch of papers and stuff. So I cleaned all of that off. I sorted through some of that. And then my desk has these two. This is one of them. You can pull out like these big like planks kind of, and they're not very thick, but they're nice size and you can put stuff on them. However, if I raise my desk chair up a decent amount, the arms will hit the boards as I like turn and stuff, so I can kind of get stuck. So that's not great. So fortunately, I've avoided spinning too much and banging into those while talking. But oh gosh, I've done that sometimes when I've been leaving or I've been going to get something. No, it's maybe jump a little bit, and it's been a bit frustrating at times. But I guess that's just part of what we deal with. Dolph is asking, hi Dolph, I hope your first week has gone well. Dolph asks, if the baseball season were delayed until September, oh please no. Thoughts on a 32-game regular season where each team only plays 8 games against each of its divisional opponents. Keith Olbermann has pitched this. Keith Olbermann, he's a character. Oh boy. Okay, 32-game regular season. Oh, that'd be so weird. Well, okay, I would hope that they would expand rosters and I have no, like, going to one of those games each game would feel like a playoff atmosphere, which in football, you see that for each of their regular season games as well because of the importance of each individual game. So the 32 games will be significantly more important, and the atmosphere there would probably be really, really cool. Plus, we would have been starved of baseball for 4 months, 5 months, so it would have been just angsty to get out there. But I mean, that makes sense because really you want the division winners to make the playoffs. But beyond, like, you'd have your six division winners, which would make a lot of sense because, okay, yeah, they've played everybody in the division and it's gone well. But then you've got two wild card teams that, if maybe they don't win their division, but they are there's two good teams in their division and there's three not good teams. Take the AL Central. If the Twins and the White Sox, for example, both do really well, but the Indians, Royals, and Tigers have down seasons, you're going to have two teams with lots of wins and possibly more wins than anybody else in the AL, and one would win the division, one would get a wild card without having to play anybody else in the league. So doing a 32 game regular season, I think would definitely be a good idea if they need to figure out some way to do it, but it would make the wild card a bit more of a challenge because you could make the argument that they didn't play anybody else in the league. So are they really the fourth best team in the league? We don't really know. But, oh gosh, I haven't even thought about stuff getting postponed until September. I'm still maybe hopeful it'll be July, but that's okay. What else? Yeah. My gosh, it's been almost a week. And along the same lines of baseball season being delayed, yesterday there were a bunch of different games that MLB put out there for people to watch at different parts of the day. YouTube also has a huge supply of games. So if you are a baseball fan of some kind, you can probably search the 3-letter abbreviation for your team, search like a season or a year. If you know a specific date of a game you want to watch, it's out there probably from like 2005 on. So if you want to watch any of those games out there, they're out there on YouTube and they're great. So if you need a way to watch some sort of baseball, that's all out there. I know that NBC Sports Gold, which you can use to watch like Premier League football on, will have like all of the games from this season are certainly on there so you can watch. They may have older seasons on there as well, so you can go back and watch the soccer games there, so that's always good. But yeah, sports are very different right now. But hey, I can still ride my bike indoors, so that's fun. And there's no risk of me getting hurt at all. And I don't know if I have mentioned that, like in Girona, or maybe in Spain in general, and over in France as well, that there are cycling bans for anybody going and cycling outside of utility. So, okay, you're cycling to work or something like that, and you have to have documentation saying that, no, this person has a good reason to be cycling. And it's like, even if you're just going out on your own, like for a little bit of a workout or a leisurely ride, you can't do that. Because the idea is that if you crash and hurt yourself in some way that you need medical attention, and heaven forbid it actually be something serious where you end up taking up a hospital bed for any period of time, that is one less hospital bed that is available for somebody who's getting treated for COVID-19. So it's very strange to think about. It's like, oh, why are we stopping people from going on a bike ride? They're not necessarily interacting with anybody. They're probably not going to be within 6 feet of someone for a long period of time, so transmission would be low. but it is the risk of injury and needing medical attention that would then be diverted away from treating COVID-19. So I think it will be interesting to see how that kind of stuff comes in to or percolates into the US and what different cities, different states end up deciding to do, because different communities have very different like forms of activity going on within their communities. So it's not like, okay, a blanket banning on cycling is going to do the same kind of thing here in Des Moines as it would maybe in Waverly, Iowa, partially due to population, partially due to the like prevalence of biking in either locations, like on a per capita basis. So certainly something that could come into play at some point, but so far I don't know of many bans on that kind of thing. But I've heard lots of people on Zwift talking about that and how it has certainly shifted them into pretty much 100% trainer riding. They can move their trainers outside and then like be doing it on their balcony or in their garage. They're at least kind of outside, but not going anywhere and risking anything that could come from actual movement on a bicycle throughout the city or on a trail of any kind. But okay, it is 11:41. I think reflecting on how the show, the discussion, the chit chat that is really just me chit chatting for the first week, I think this has gone well. I've had lots of good feedback from everybody. I've tried to be entertaining in some way. I'm not one to like write jokes. Again, I think Dan Park asked on Tuesday if I'm able to do stand up or sit down comedy, and it's not something I would think I'd be very good at. Again, there's being able to make a joke out of a situation that arises and making a witty one-off comment, and there is stitching together a narrative of some kind where you can have two or three jokes that pop up throughout the telling of the story. That's kind of what I see with stand-up summit, or I'm not going to just rattle off a bunch of knock-knock jokes because, well, those probably get old as well. But I think I've enjoyed, no, I don't think I've enjoyed, I have enjoyed being able to talk about some different stuff and answering some different questions from people. As I was talking, I think with Mackenzie and Ben yesterday, I've been, I've somehow had a bunch of different things to talk about, and I've also avoided some of the things like sports that I know not everybody pays that much attention to, and it's harder to do so now, even with like nothing going on sports wise. There's stuff going on like the edges and the fringes of stuff, but there's not lots of events going on, so it's harder to talk about that anyway. But I mean, I could have a sports discussion at some point if this continues for a while. Heaven forbid, if I get into like 20 or 30 episodes, I will probably have to start talking about sports. But I mean, I can certainly recount my days a little bit. And again, Monday and Tuesday will be Music Monday and Television Tuesday, so that will certainly help. But I have to fill Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday still, so we'll see how that goes. I think it's gone well outside of the microphone issue yesterday, which I resolved by unplugging and replugging in the USB cord for the audio interface afterwards. Technically wise, it's gone very smoothly. I think the audio quality seems to have been fine. I haven't heard any complaints, which I guess if it's just me talking, I'm not going to hear any complaints anyway, but that's okay. I think next week may be a good opportunity to have a guest or two on. Right now, I am just planning on doing audio because I don't want to force anybody to dress more professionally or like pressure someone into dressing up more because they know that they're going to be on camera. If someone still wants to be on camera, we can certainly set that up, and I will look into that a little bit more. But I think I am going to try to have a guest or two, or at least a couple of different episodes. So if you are so inclined and would like to discuss something with me for part of the time, please reach out through Teams or email. Again, you can send me an IM on Skype right now, but I'm not logged into Skype, so it'll just come through as an email message, or reach out, I guess. I don't know how, well, you can leave a comment, I guess, on the video after it gets posted if you're watching this later. But I think I will try to figure out a proper way to have somebody else on the show, because as much as I may or really may not enjoy listening to my own voice for 30 minutes, having somebody else on gives me somebody to interact to, and in these times, it is important that we have social interaction of some kind. So, on that note, again, if you would like to be on the show, please reach out to me in some manner, and I will coordinate with you, and we can test some stuff before we actually jump on, because there's nothing more embarrassing than, oh, hey, here's our guest, and nobody can hear them or see them. But have a fabulous rest of your Friday, everybody. Enjoy the weekend. Be safe. Wash your hands. Enjoy the time that you can spend with family members more. Be patient with everybody out there. And again, have a great day, everyone. I will talk to you on Monday, probably noon Central, but I will confirm that and maybe send out a meeting invite if people are so interested. Have a wonderful day.